посмотрим. Время пришло. Здравствуй, Тари.
The film opens with a young girl named Piper. After school, while waiting to be picked up by her older sibling Andy, she tries to fit in with the other kids. But because of her condition, they seem to keep their distance and avoid getting too close to her. A moment later, Andy finally arrives and quickly takes Piper home. After returning home, Andy, who is fixing the car's side mirror, suddenly panics when Piper asks him to check on their father, who hasn't come out of the bathroom.
Andy! Okay, we're coming in, Dad.
What's happening? Andy!
They are instantly devastated when they realize their father has died after slipping in the bathroom. And whether it's a myth or not, accidents like this are often deadly for older adults and have taken many lives. Not long after their father's death, Andy and Piper, now left without parents, are approached by a social worker named Wendy, who tells them that a woman is willing to take them in. Wendy also takes a moment to assess Piper's condition, confirming that she has partial blindness, meaning she can only see light and blurry shapes. During the conversation, Andy insists that he doesn't want to be adopted and believes he can take care of Piper on his own. However, since Andy is still underage, Wendy explains that he won't be able to gain legal custody of Piper until he turns 18. For now, she asks them to go through the temporary placement process, especially since Andy will be turning 18 in just 3 months, at which point he can apply for custody. Shortly after, as workers begin clearing out the house, Andy tries to comfort Piper. He promises that once he turns 18, he'll take care of everything and get legal custody of her. Andy also tells Piper that he truly cares about her, even though she's his stepsister. Not long after, Andy and Piper are seen traveling to their foster mother's home, located in a remote area in Australia. Upon arriving at their destination, they quickly call out for their foster mother. Moments later, their foster mother Laura warmly welcomes Andy and Piper. She mentions that Piper's vision condition reminds her of her late daughter Katie. Curious, Piper asks how Katie died. With tears in her eyes, Laura explains that Katie drowned in the pool behind the house after slipping away from her supervision. In the middle of their conversation, Laura receives a call from Wendy and tells them to make themselves at home and look around.
If you're going outside, don't let the cat out.
Andy is suddenly confused when he notices a bald child standing inside the empty pool.
Give me the cat. Let him go.
What's happening?
However, we can see that this bald child has marks on their face, exactly the same as the girl from the beginning of the film. A moment later, while measuring Piper's height, Laura introduces the bald child to Andy and Piper, revealing that their name is Oliver. Laura explains that Oliver has been withdrawn and unresponsive since being adopted due to the trauma of losing their parents in an accident. She adds that she is currently working on therapy to help Oliver recover from that trauma. Long story short, while carrying his belongings, Andy notices a strange white line marked across the yard. Even so, he doesn't think much of it. A moment later, Laura takes Piper to the room where she'll be staying.
It's Kathy's room.
Yeah, sorry.
Not long after, night falls. After making sure Andy and Piper are asleep, Laura is seen preparing to watch a video from a VHS tape. It turns out that Laura is secretly studying a ritual from the cult we saw at the beginning of the film. Moments later, Andy wakes up and becomes confused when he sees Laura and Oliver heading toward the shed in the middle of the night. The next morning, Andy wakes up in shock as he realizes he's had an accident in his sleep. While washing his clothes and sheets, he sits there quietly, feeling embarrassed, thinking that maybe he's not ready to be an adult yet if things like this are still happening. Meanwhile, Laura, who is about to leave to attend Andy and Piper's father's funeral, is seen locking Oliver inside a room. Not long after, Andy and Piper are seen attending their father's funeral.
Hi, Dad.
But when the area clears out, Laura is seen doing something to Andy and Piper's father's body. It turns out that after studying the cult ritual, Laura secretly cuts some of his hair to use as part of the ritual. Meanwhile, back at the house, Oliver, his hands covered in blood, is seen walking toward the shed. That night, trying to cheer Andy and Piper up, Laura invites them to drink alcohol. It's clear she doesn't really care that they're underage. She just wants to come across as a fun, easygoing parent.
Cheers.
Later that night, after Andy and Piper pass out, Laura, before going to sleep, decides to take care of something first. It turns out that Andy hasn't been wetting the bed at all. Laura has been the one secretly pouring urine on him while he sleeps. But why would she do something like that? Before going to bed, Laura is seen cleaning Oliver's wounds. She tells him that the extreme hunger he's been experiencing will soon be over once everything is ready. Oh my God, it turns out that Oliver has been used as a vessel for a horned demon. The next morning, Andy wakes up feeling embarrassed again when he finds his pants wet. Little does he know, the urine actually belongs to Laura.
Andy!
Moments later, Laura pretends to be shocked when she finds out that Andy has been wetting the bed. Hearing that, Piper immediately feels uncomfortable and starts looking down on her brother, especially since Andy is about to turn 18. With her plan working perfectly, Laura then asks Andy to look after Oliver while she takes Piper out shopping. A moment later, still traumatized by what happened to his father in the bathroom, Andy decides to take a shower outside instead. Noticing Oliver watching him, Andy tries to greet him, but at that moment, with his strange behavior, Oliver is seen eating an insect. After finishing his shower, Andy quickly calls Oliver to come eat with him. Sensing that Oliver is trying to communicate something, Andy grabs a notebook and a pencil so Oliver can write down what he wants.
Laura yelling at me.
Oh my God, Andy is completely shocked when Oliver suddenly does something horrifying. He shoves a knife into his mouth and tries to chew on it, leaving his mouth bleeding. Panicking at the sight, Andy immediately decides to take Oliver to the hospital. It turns out that the line is actually a boundary meant to contain the demon that has been using Oliver as its host. Now that Oliver has been taken beyond that boundary, he begins to regain awareness and tries to ask for help, but at that moment, Laura arrives and immediately panics when she realizes Oliver is conscious again after being brought outside the barrier. Clearly upset, she tells them to go back inside right away. Moments later, realizing that the demon she had contained is starting to break free from Oliver's body, Laura panics. She hurriedly tries to perform the ritual again, watching a tutorial video to force the demon back into him.
I think your brother let him out.
After feeding Oliver with hair taken from Andy's father's body, it becomes clear that the entire house is now surrounded by protective circles created by Laura. Not long after, when Andy finally gathers the courage to shower in the bathroom, he suddenly panics when he sees the apparition of his father. The spirit warns him that Piper will be killed in this place. Oh my God, this is bad. In a panic, Andy slips in the bathroom and hits his head. Will he end up suffering the same fate as his father? Luckily, Andy doesn't suffer the same fate in the bathroom. Now, he's receiving treatment at the hospital. Meanwhile, back at the house, Laura looks pleased as the pool behind her home fills with rainwater mixed with the ritual chalk powder from her twisted practices. Not long after, once Andy regains consciousness, he asks Laura to take him home. But since he's still suffering from a concussion, Laura insists that he needs to stay and receive treatment for a few more days. In a panic, Andy explains that before he fell in the bathroom, he saw their father's spirit, who warned him that Piper is in danger. Realizing her plan might be exposed, Laura quickly dismisses it, saying that what Andy experienced was nothing more than a hallucination. After returning home, Laura, ready to begin her twisted ritual, invites Piper to go out and stand in the rain with her.
This is Kathy's favorite.
Laura is clearly happy when she sees Piper wearing the sweater that once belonged to her late daughter. A moment later, she decides to show Piper something.
Oh, it's cold. Oh my God, what is it?
It turns out that Laura has been preserving her daughter's body inside a freezer. Unable to accept her daughter's death, Laura plans to perform a ritual to bring her back, just like the one shown in the VHS tapes she's been watching.
This is unbelievable.
A few days later, after being cleared to go home, Andy sits in silence during the drive. He can't stop thinking about what his father's spirit told him. When they arrive home, Andy feels relieved to see that Piper is safe. That night, while gently stroking Oliver's head, Laura tries to guide the demon inside him to help her bring Katie back. As part of the ritual, Laura needs the possessed Oliver to consume Katie's remains and then regurgitate them into the mouth of her chosen daughter, which in this case is Piper. After watching the recording, Laura prepares to take the next step and begin her ritual. For some reason, Laura suddenly slaps Piper while she's asleep.
Here he is.
The next morning, when Andy sees the bruise on Piper's face, he immediately panics and asks who did it. But of course, Piper doesn't know. She only remembers smelling Andy's perfume when she was slapped. Hearing that, Laura, who has been planning all of this, quickly turns on Andy and forces him to leave. She claims that his trauma and concussion may have caused him to hurt Piper without realizing it. In reality, everything Laura did was meant to separate Piper from Andy. In the middle of the heated argument, Andy suddenly notices something strange about Oliver.
No, Andy, look at me.
Andy is shocked when he tries to record what's happening with Oliver. Through his phone, he sees horns forming on Oliver's head. At that moment, Laura, desperate to keep her plan from being exposed, lunges forward and tries to snatch the phone from him. However, by playing the victim, Laura manages to manipulate Piper into protecting her. Realizing his sister has been influenced, Andy rushes to the social services office to report his suspicions.
You're okay.
When Andy arrives at the social services office to see Wendy, he's shocked to find a missing child poster. The face on it looks exactly like Oliver. Meanwhile, back at the house, Laura continues preparing for her ritual and takes Piper out to play at the park. Back to Andy, he tries to tell Wendy that the missing child in the poster is actually Oliver, who is now living at Laura's house. But of course, Wendy doesn't believe him, especially since Laura is a former child counselor she deeply trusts. As Wendy begins looking into Oliver's information, Andy urges her to come to Laura's house to prove it. Despite her doubts, Wendy's curiosity gets the better of her, and she agrees to go with him. After returning home, Laura finds the house in a mess and immediately panics when she realizes the demon inside Oliver is starting to suffer from extreme hunger.
It's me.
Luckily, Laura manages to survive even after being bitten. Like a termite, the starving demon even starts gnawing on a wooden table. Not only that, in its extreme hunger, the demon inside Oliver begins eating its own host's flesh. After wrapping the wound on her hand, Laura quickly goes out to look for Oliver. Realizing she can't delay it any longer, Laura begins the final ritual to bring Katie's spirit into Piper's body. Moments later, even though it pains her, Laura has no choice but to let the demon inside Oliver consume her daughter's remains. Meanwhile, before reaching Laura's house, Andy tries to call Piper to warn her about what Laura has been doing. He tells her that he and Wendy are on their way to pick her up, but unexpectedly, the call is answered by Laura, who has taken Piper's phone. Hearing this, Laura panics and quickly starts cleaning up the mess in the house. Long story short, when they arrive, Wendy asks Andy to wait in the car while she goes inside to speak with Laura.
Hi, love.
After Wendy goes inside the house, Andy immediately heads off to check the shed. Andy is horrified when he sees Oliver eating Katie's remains. Meanwhile, as Wendy looks around the house, she becomes suspicious when she notices blood on Laura's hands. In the middle of her confusion, Wendy hears Andy screaming and rushes toward him. Realizing everything is about to be exposed, Laura begins to lose control and admits that she was only trying to bring Katie back.
It would work, but it's working.
Okay, let me go.
He's gonna bring her back.
Let me fucking
Come outside!
After witnessing the horror, they immediately rush out to report everything to the police. Oh my God. Without hesitation and determined not to let her ritual fail, Laura suddenly kills Wendy. Tragically, both Wendy and Andy end up losing their lives at the hands of Laura, who has completely lost her mind. Not long after dealing with Andy and Wendy's bodies, Laura goes to pick Piper up and bring her home. When they arrive home, unaware of what has happened, Piper suddenly hears her brother's voice calling out to her.
Piper.
It turns out the voice is coming from the demon, now fully fed after consuming Katie's remains. The demon tells Piper that Andy is dead and that Laura has hidden his body in the bathroom. Shocked, Piper suddenly sees Laura approaching and urging her to leave immediately. As they walk, Piper asks where Andy is, but Laura simply tells her that he went out. Still, Piper senses that something is very wrong and that she needs to be careful. In the middle of the panic, Piper becomes uneasy when she notices the smell of blood in the room. Piper is shocked when she realizes that her brother is truly gone. At that moment, Laura, now aware that her actions have been exposed, tells Piper to stay calm, explaining that she only needs Piper's body to serve as a vessel for her daughter's soul.
Put him inside, Ollie. And now, because you're just like her. Just as perfect.
This is bad. Piper suddenly collapses after hitting a pole. Seeing this as her chance, Laura quickly drags Piper toward the pool. At that moment, the demon inside Oliver is also preparing to transfer Katie's soul into Piper. But first, Piper must die in the exact same way Katie did. Unexpectedly, Laura is suddenly overwhelmed by memories of Katie's death and begins to regret what she's done. Seizing the moment, Piper panics and runs away. At the same time, the demon appears confused, unsure of where to transfer Katie's soul. After being kicked in the stomach, the demon finally expels Katie's soul inside the shed. Moments later, Piper, who managed to escape, is luckily found by a passing driver. At the same time, Oliver, now beginning to regain control of himself, rushes out of the boundary line. At the same time, Laura, now resigned to her fate, walks toward the shed to retrieve her daughter's body. Meanwhile, Piper, now rescued, can only break down in grief after losing the last family member she had. Not long after she's taken to the police station, authorities finally find Oliver, the missing child, in critical condition. As for Laura, she is later seen in the pool, taking her own life while holding her daughter's body. And that's where the film ends. So, what do you think? Pretty disturbing, right? At this point, there's really nothing more to explain. The message is clear. Never try to bring someone back from the dead, because you're not God. And that wraps up our review and breakdown of Bring Her Back 2025. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss any upcoming videos from Cine Recap. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Stay safe.